I mean, there have always been healers, hands-on healers. Right. Let's talk about the biofield of the human body with intention and the electricity and such that comes out of our hands alone.
Right. So there are some studies. One study in particular was a group of scientists that said if this is true, if there's hands-on healing and this is happening, we should be able to measure it. So they did. And they could measure a frequency coming out of the healer's hand, and they could also measure that the patient, the person sitting in front of them, started in training with that frequency. So we know that, you know, entrainment is my heart will start beating with your heart in time, something that we do well. But they measured those frequencies, and that range of that frequency was around 7.8 hertz. It was a little above and a little below. What is 7.8 hertz? That's the same frequency of the Earth's electromagnetic field. So go outside if you want the cheapest, least expensive way.
Lay on the dirt naked.
Take your, that's exactly right. Take your shoes off and ground yourself with the earth. That is frequency medicine right there. So these hands-on healers, they can do it, but they found even the experienced healers sometimes would show some kind of distress in their GI because it took so much energy out of them. And you'll hear that in the communities of the people that work with this, right?
Right.
I get exhausted. It drains me. We've got to be careful. We've got to be careful if you're using that. And not to say that you completely shield, but if you've got two fairly healthy people and you resonate with one another, the amplitude of that healthy wave is going to get higher and higher.
Right.
But if we got somebody who's very, very ill and their wave's down here and yours is up here, you're going to do this. So that's going to bring yours down a little bit while you're bringing theirs up.
Along the line of what you were talking about a moment ago, get your feet out on the dirt. There was a book that I just absolutely adored called The Goat Doctor of the Sierra. And this man was raised by a very eccentric woman in San Francisco who understood the human elements of energy healing.
Right.
She took this boy who had lost a lung to tuberculosis, I believe, took him to the Sierra Nevada, and he slept in a hollowed out bit of dirt. I mean, that's where he slept. He was surrounded by animals, including goats, who he developed a very deep telepathic relationship with on a healing level. She's told him grow his hair long so it could then start picking up the subtle electrical forces. And this young man, besides being an extraordinary story, this man developed incredible healing abilities and worked literally. People would line up and come from all over the U.S. Out in this remote area of the Sierra and wait for days to have his hands-on touch. But that is how he recovered his own health.
Right.
You know.
And I think we all have that ability. It's just how often do we get out of the fluorescent lights and the cell phones and this and that, all the disturbances that we have to really connect with nature and ourselves. And we have the ability, but we've chosen to have more technology than connecting.
Which is a shame, than touch, more technology than touch. And how beautiful it would be if in our lives we had, whether it's a partner or friends or our kids, you know, whomever we're comfortable with, to be able to have a little laying on of hands day in and day out, a little foot massage here.
And those studies have been done, the healing power of touch and just even a hug. But I will say the good news is, patients 10 years ago, sitting, and it's in my intake, I'd ask, do you have a spiritual practice? I'm not asking if you go to church. I'm not asking about religion. I'm asking, do you feel connected? And emotionally, and asking those questions. It was always a little awkward for them to talk about. Now, it's like an awakening is happening. Patients are coming in and they want to talk about it. I had a contractor the other day, a 24-year-old, working hard, young children, contractor falling apart at the seams. And I said, can you just do some breathing with me? And he said, well, you're the only person I'd let, you know, I'd do this with, you know, the tough guy to get. He was sobbing at the end, and then now he comes by every so often and says, you saved my life. Something as simple as that. People are wanting it. They know they need it. They just need to have this opened up to them to hear about it. And that's the good news. They're not as closed off as they used to be. People really are wanting to touch and hear and feel and understand that the earth and nature are some of our best healers.
And each other.
That's right. That's right.